So let's wait for a few minutes to have some more people to join, right? Lithium Venus. Sadika, how's everything in the
In
Paris,
Lebanon.
Paris of the Middle East? I love this one. I saw your TEDx speech and I
Thank,
really love this about Lebanon.
thank you. But unfortunately, the Paris of the Middle East is no longer,
Mm-hmm.
as the civil war started in Lebanon. And now I guess we are facing the toughest of times. We are in the midst of adversities, not one adversity. It's not only COVID-19, but it's economic collapse. It's the whole country's collapsing. So we are in the free fall, as we say, about to hit rock bottom, and I hope we hit it very soon because there will be no way but going up again. So
Yes, like they said,
hope. Yeah,
when you go really rock bottom, the only way is to go up. So
exactly.
yes. DTM Venus, you can guide me. When should I start, or should we start now? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to day 2 of Toastmaster District 97P 2021 Virtual Annual Conference. And this is the session 1 of the 6 flavors of Toastmasters. There are 5 other rooms that is running in the breakout room at the same time. There are storytelling, mentoring, marketing, persuasion, and embracing the new normal. And this exact room is for leadership. My name is Pa. I will be here to support you throughout this 1 hour interactive workshop with Sadika. So before I introduce Sadika, let me give you a few good practice of housekeeping on this breakout room. So number 1, please turn on the video. Dr. Vincent, if you are there, please turn on the video. And so we can interact with Sadika properly. Number 2, please mute yourself while the speaker is speaking. If you wish to ask a question or want to speak, please hit that raise hand button or simply type in the chat box. I will be calling your name and then you can unmute yourself and speak or ask question. This session, Sadika will actively ask question now and again, so please be ready to connect with her. Lastly, this session will be recorded. So after this, the recorded version will be shared on Toastmaster District 97P website or their Facebook page. Now let's get into it. Today, I am pleased to welcome Sadika Kebbi, a very, very special guest speaker from Paris of the Middle East, Lebanon. Sadika is a corporate trainer. She is a thought leader, a TEDx speaker. She's a life coach. She is a certified coach, trainer, speaker, and teacher from John Maxwell team. And let me tell you, she is an exceptional storyteller and more. So today she will be sharing with us the speech that is, I think, timely and relevant to us leader today. The topic is leading in time of adversity. And with that, I ask you all to give your full attention to our guest speaker, Sadika. Get your pen and paper ready. And now please help me welcoming her to our virtual stage. Leading in time of adversity, Sadika Kebbi. Please take it away.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. I'm so pleased and honored to be here with you today. And I'll be sharing my screen with you. And as Pa mentioned, it's going to be interactive. I have questions for you all through my presentation. So please be ready to answer and interact. Your hero yourself. That is very true. On the 4th of August, 2020, I left my house at 6 p.m. in the morning, actually at 6 p.m. in the evening. Now it's in the morning in Lebanon, in the evening, and I was heading to deliver a workshop. 6:07, the car flew in the air and landed back on its four wheels. And then a horrific noise hit my ears. In a split of a second, I was thrown back into 1975, especially on the 6th of December, 1975, when my best friend, my neighbor, and my classmate was slaughtered with her family. I found myself standing by her bedside. But because all through the years, I learned that there was something called hope. And I learned that hope has two daughters, anger and courage. The first daughter that hijacked me was anger, and it threw me back into time. But when I found myself standing by Jenna's bedside, watching her slit throat, immediately courage took over. And I knew that things will not remain the same. Things will change. It was the Beirut blast on the 4th of August, 2020. I felt confused in my car, but it took me 5 minutes to bring my courage back, and I immediately headed to where the blast occurred to help my fellow citizens. The question is addressed to you, and I would like, before I continue my story and my speech, to ask you the following. I would like to hear from you. What is or what are the adversities you are facing right now? Where are you stuck? What particular fears are holding you back? Or when was the last time you have done something you have never done before? Who would like to take one of these questions? Just open your mic or raise your hand. Yes, Pa, go ahead. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I am checking anyone raising the hands.
Okay, maybe I can start. So
Yes.
question number one, where I'm stuck right now, because actually this year I'm planning to have a career change, but of course I'm having that fear that it's COVID-19, the COVID-19 pandemic situation, that I should just take good care of the job I have right now, because I heard of several people losing jobs. And here I am having a good job, but still planning to change it. So that's where I'm stuck. Like it's about between deciding about taking good care of what I have right now, or really moving into that career that I'm really dreaming of. And when was the last time I have done something that I've never done before? Actually, right now, I'm doing a lot of things that I've never done before, because I'm currently serving as the district director, and I know that I have almost 30 days left. And there's a lot of things that I really never done before. Like, for example, sending like hundreds of emails to prospective members to come and join our club, our district. But I'm enjoying it. So far, I could say I'm enjoying the things that I'm doing right now that I've never been doing before.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Venus. Thank you. Okay. So what needs, yes, we have another participant. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Help me
Thank you,
pronounce your
Dita.
name, please.
My name is Shaharia Choudhury. You can call me Shah.
Shah, yes, that's easier.
Yeah, for me, is the big problem is that low confidence. Like it's like that. I have many things. I'm doing many things, but still now sometimes I think that it's not enough. It's not enough to show me or say that yeah I can do or I believe it. But I'm doing many things. Like I'm doing a job at university. I'm the editor of journal. I'm the assistant of my dean. I'm also the president of my community. I'm also serving District 97. Many things I'm doing, but I don't know why I feel that sometimes that problem actually came from my childhood. I have many problems, so that's why I still now I am taking that fear to say to that I can do or be yeah I can take responsibility. But I'm last 2 years I'm doing that things I never done before.
Amazing. Thank you so much for
Thank
sharing.
you.
Thank you so much for being transparent. Thank you. And I would like to move on. What do we need or what needs to change in order to face adversity? There's this philosopher, the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu said, this is his quote, if we don't change the direction we are going, we are likely to end up where we are heading. So the first thing we need to change is the direction. How do we change the direction? It's by changing the way we think. Very simply, it's about changing our perspective. And as I mentioned before, if we have this concept in mind or this attitude that nothing will remain the same, that it will change, of course, our perception is going to change. All we have to do is hold up this paintbrush that I called attitude. It's a paintbrush that you either paint your wall with black or you can paint it colorful. It's all about your attitude. It's all about your mindset. It's all about that frame. And as Shah said, it all starts in our childhood with those limiting beliefs that have been, if you want, planted in our heads and in our hearts. So we need, in order to face adversity, the first thing we need to do is to change our direction. And to do that, we need to change our thinking. It's not easy, but it can happen. Definitely it can happen. Another question for you. Why do you think it's so easy to have a negative perspective when a crisis hits? Like it happened with me on the 4th of December, on the 4th of August. The minute I heard the blast, in a split of a second, I was taken back to the Civil War. This was the first thing I felt and I thought about. What is it in your opinion? Why do we go to the negative?
Shah?
Yeah, for me, I think that that problem I keep from long time. So I never try to fix it. I try to skip it. So that's why again and again I face same problem. This is from this is my opinion.
Yes, this is one of them, definitely. Anyone else would like to take that question? Okay, I'm going to move on because I have many slides to share with you. Okay, another thing.
Sorry, I see Zoom Masters. I can read your name. Raise the hand. Yes, please unmute yourself and speak.
Sorry, it's Thomas here.
Oh, Thomas.
My opinion, I come from Glasgow, Scotland, so I was born into a poor family, and there was prejudice, there was persecution, etc., but nothing on the scale that has existed in Lebanon and Palestine and now Belarus, etc. So I just like to say, for me, it's natural to be angry, to be hateful, to want revenge. Absolutely. And I think in some ways it takes people who are in conflict, who have experienced conflict, to say, Thomas, wait a minute. It's not the end of the world.
Yes.
My opinion is nations of courage are nations in conflict.
Mhm.
You don't get courage by saying, well, it's a nice day, I'll just go out for a walk and it's sunny, thanks very much. You do that 1,000 times. Adversity causes you to maybe get angry, pay attention, but without those challenges, and these are terrible challenges for people, terrible, you won't see that courage. Anyway, that's my comment in passing. Back to you.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you. It is very true. It's not easy at all to find positivity and anger. As I said, Hope has two daughters. It is natural to have anger, and anger sometimes is positive. It's not always negative, because anger can push you to take action, and the anger can push you to change your mindset, and the anger can push you to see things differently. It is a must to have both together, to marry both together, anger and courage, in order to find hope. I will share with you one positive thing that happened with me in COVID-19. I started a movement a year ago called Transformation Lebanon. I'm also a specialist in value-based leadership. And as a John Maxwell team member, I had the opportunity to travel with John to Paraguay and Costa Rica to implement a program in transforming countries through values. And I believe that what is happening is because we lack values, human values, not religious values, the universal values every single leader should have. A mother at her house is as a leader. A father, every single person of us are leaders in some way or another. We are leading someone. Think about it. Somebody is following you. Someone around you is following in your footsteps. So we started Transformation Lebanon because of the revolution that took place, and we felt that at a certain point, we really need values. Those values will keep us grounded as Lebanese, especially now that we are in that free fall. This is the right time to plant the seed of values, because we want the new leaders of Lebanon to have the seed of values planted in them in order to rise again and lead the country to a better place, of course, to a country with no corruption, hopefully, at some point. So we started Transformation Lebanon in the midst of the crisis. We were 25 people, and now we are 600 plus. And we have extended last week. We have brought 100 Iraqi students also on our roundtables, and we started values in Iraq. So this is growing, and this is going to have momentum at some point. So crisis push you to be innovators. It pushes new leaders to grow, and it highlights new leaders. So it's we have to take it as a positive challenge. It is negative in some way or another, but still it pushes and brings positivity out of us if we really change our mindset. The first thing we should have to change our mindset is to have hope for ourselves first, and then hope for others. Because it's not only about me, it's about everybody else around the globe as well. In your opinion, when do you think people change? before I disclose, do you have any idea when do people change? Anyone would like to share? Yes, Thomas, you have your hand risen.
Yes, people change when there's a shock to the system. Something is unexpected. Then if you can catch them at that point and hopefully, let's say, not constrain them, but contain them, maybe contain their anxiety, perhaps you can point them in a direction of change that is going to be beneficial for them, first of all, and what they believe in.
Yes, thank you for sharing.
DP?
Yeah, people change when that need comes from within.
Yes, when the need comes from within, yes. I would like to share with you, hope fuels urgency, and urgency feeds desire, and urgency inspires courage, and urgency calls for action. And now we are facing urgency in midst of COVID-19. All of us, whenever I speak about that, everybody can feel it. Everybody knows what adversity is and challenge is. So people change when they hurt enough that they have to. Exactly like my journey. I have hurt enough, especially with the loss of my friend. And then at the age of 14, I joined the Red Cross, and witnessing the violence and the atrocities that my people committed from all sides. We are 18 sects in Lebanon, in this tiny country. We are 18 sects, and the 18 sects turned into monsters. I can say that. I'm not talking about everybody, of course. I don't generalize, but the parties that were fighting on the ground were unleashed. There was no values, there was nothing to contain them, nothing to restrain them. Everything was permitted in the midst of a civil war. People change when they see enough that they are inspired to change. People change when they learn enough that they want to do. People change when they receive enough that they are able to. So this is really very important, and we have to be aware of that change that is happening within. Sometimes we are changing, but there's no awareness. This is why people feel stuck most of the time. Like Venus mentioned, she was between careers. Definitely there is a change happening within Venus that is pushing her to change her career, because the first one is not enough for her anymore. She's seeking development, she's seeking personal growth, and this is coming from within. Do you think of the word advantages when you hear of the word crisis? Have you ever thought about this? Why? Venus, can you, I see you nodding your head. Can you give me an answer to that?
I'm a very positive person, I could say, and in every situation, I always see the advantages of it. Like, for example, the crisis right now, what's happening, it is really allowing me to explore more and to be more creative.
Amazing, amazing. And by the way, the opportunities are not waiting for us around the corner. We grow into our opportunities. We grow into them. So we have to be ready. We have to be prepared for the opportunity. So this is why personal growth is a must, and personal growth is the only way to help you grow into that opportunity. And by the way, Corona and this isolation, most people have invested in their personal growth during these times because they had plenty of free time on their hands because of that isolation. And this was amazing. So I want to tell you what change can happen, what change can bring, and changing your mindset, especially changes the balance of risk and reward. Okay, when the status quo is broken, these are the advantages of adversity. When the status quo is broken, there's almost no downside in taking a chance on something new, especially now in Lebanon. It's a free fall. What happens if I change? There's no risk to be taken. Already I am at risk. Adversity also, or the advantages of adversity, it helps us increase our focus. As I said, many people have shifted their focus to their personal growth now, okay? It helps people eliminate all distractions. Many people have focused on their families. They didn't used to focus on the family and the nucleus of the community. And also one of the advantages, most important advantages, that it identifies leaders, because new leaders step up in the midst of adversities. If you have any question at some point, please don't hesitate to interrupt me and ask. The third thing to do is to make the right turn. How do we make the right turn? We're going to discover that. If we are going to keep on making excuses, we can never change. We cannot do both. It's either excuse, either change. You have to choose. The option is yours. I cannot sit there at home on my couch and say, COVID, 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 Corona, I can't go out, I cannot interact, I cannot see people, I cannot physically meet, all these excuses. No, these platforms, here you go. I'm in Lebanon, you are in Singapore. And yet we're together on that platform of Zoom, while other people are nagging. Another question for you: how do we make the right turn and overcome adversity? Before I disclose, would like to hear from you.
Dr.
Hi, Sadika. Yeah.
Yes.
You said earlier about reframing the
Yes.
situation. So I think that's the way to overcome, make the right turn to the right
Yes.
direction. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Naj. Anyone else would like to take that? Please keep me on track with time because I've lost track.
It is 11:40.
So we still have? Okay, very good. All right. So I want you to keep in mind that everyone has bad experiences, but it is what we do with these experiences. And I want you to concentrate a bit with me here, especially in Toastmasters. We use storytelling. We tell about our experiences. But sometimes when we fail and we fall forward, many people do not reflect. You know those pauses we take in our speeches? Reflection is a pause on life. Reflection is a pause on our bad experiences. If I do not take a break and reflect on what happened with me, why did this happen? What really happened? And ask myself all these questions, I cannot get the positive outcome out of my failure. Because it's just the cycle of success, according to John Maxwell, is as follows. Test, that means take risk. Fail, learn, improve, and then get back into the race. Test, fail, learn, improve, and then get back into the race. If I do not reflect on that failure, I cannot move on. I cannot learn. I cannot improve. I cannot get back into the race. It's true that no one likes bad experiences, but this is where we learn. And I always compare life to our heartbeats. our heartbeats, they go up and down, up and down, up and down all the time. And this is exactly what life is. If you are living in a straight line, you're dead. When my heart beats, take that straight line, I'm dead. And if you are always in that comfort zone of yours, you're dead. You have to risk it. You have to fail. You have to learn, you have to improve and go back into the race again. Why do you think people succumb so easily to their past negative experiences? Why, in your opinion, does this
Thomas?
happen?
Thomas?
Behavior, basically, laziness.
Yes,
These are
sometimes it is.
characteristics that are very difficult to overcome at times.
Yes, it is kind of, if you want, laziness, procrastination, all these, they take you and we succumb to past negative experiences. And also because we don't reflect on them, because we don't find the positive outcome. This is where our growth happens. This is where we develop as human beings. What are some ways people can heal from the traumas of the past? We're going to also discuss these. In your opinion, do you have any idea about this? Well, my experience, what helped me heal is serving others. When I start serving others, it helped me heal from all the traumas I went through. It is true that I did not forget, and I don't need to forget. I need to forgive actually, but not forget. Because if I forget, I would repeat the same mistakes. I would go back into my anger, into my grudges, into my hate, into my revenge cycle that I have experienced at first. The best way to get to surpass those traumas also is to have a negative, positive, perspective. That doesn't mean to deny reality. The civil war in Lebanon happened. Jana was taken away from me. But there was a person in my life called Uncle George, a priest, my father's childhood friend, who planted the seed of positivity within me at the age of 12. At the time, I did not understand his words. I did not grasp the philosophy he lived by. But for 7 months, living with him in his house, where he protected us as a Muslim family, he planted the seed of a human being by just repeating this, his philosophy in life and repeating this sentence of his. And he was all the day saying and repeating, Sadika, listen carefully. When you hold God in your heart, the human he created reveals itself by serving others. And then, and only then, even your enemy becomes human. And along life, this has proven to be right. Because he helped me shed all the labels I was carrying on my back. He helped me shed all these tags I was carrying on my back. The tag of a female, the tag of a Muslim, the tag of a Lebanese. All these tags were shed, and he helped me find myself standing on the platform of being human and simply human. And this is why I have no issue in reaching out to any human being. And what triggered Transformation Lebanon was when I found this young girl in one of the squares of Lebanon. And you know, we created tents in those squares where we offered service for the youth, and we started sharing our knowledge and helping them find their personal growth path. And I was sharing the 15 laws of John Maxwell in one of the squares when one girl took me on the side. She's a teenager, and she said, I want to grow, but I have no means to do that. See that place over there? And she pointed out to an apartment which was close to that square. And she said, this is my mother's brother. I was born there. And my mother pimps me and my sister since we turned 16. I cannot read, I cannot write, I have no education, but I don't want to be in that place. I want to move on. How can you help me? And she added, I cannot leave that place more than half an hour. So I can't be with you. How can you do it? And I told her with no hesitation, I will come to you. And she was shocked. She said, are you aware of what you are saying? Are you aware of the challenges? And I was, yes, I'm aware. And then she added again, do you know that you have to pay per hour to come into my room? Are you aware of the labels the society are going to put on you? And I don't care about the labels. I'm a human and you're a human and I'm ready to serve you. And our journey started and our journey still continues. And she started reading and writing Arabic. And I'm trying to equip her as much as I can for her to leave that place. And this is what started Transformation Lebanon. So change from good intentions to good actions. If I had the intention to help that girl and I kept it as an intention, would I have been able to help her? Of course not. I had to take action. Become a possibilist. Take ownership of your life, because take ownership of yourself, because this is the only thing you can control. Everything else is not in your control. COVID-19 is not in your control. Lebanon's crisis is not in my control. The only thing I can control is myself and my actions. Use your past changes as inspiration for future change, because we have all changed at some point. I'm sure all along your journey, at some point you have changed. If you reflect on your past you, I'm sure you're gonna see your new you. Invite others to join you. Focus on what you can do and not on what you cannot do. Do something. This is how change happens. This is how you go into the right direction. So, a question, especially in COVID, what will you choose? Stay at home in isolation or work together? I can stay at home and work with you like I'm doing now. If I fear COVID-19 in some way or another, if I fear for my health, if I have health issues, but at least I connect. There are lots of ways for us to connect with others and work together to bring a better change to the world. I'm going to share with you the 11 perspective principles about crisis. The first one, everything worthwhile is uphill. Downhill, there's nothing. Growth is uphill. Change is uphill. Development is uphill. The new you is uphill. So start climbing your mountain. Number 2, there is always an answer. And this is the difference, by the way, between successful people and unsuccessful people. Because successful people always know that there is an answer to everything. There's nothing impossible. Become a possibilist, especially in your mindset. 3, allow adversity to help you discover who you really are. And it is so true. I've heard lots of people say, this COVID has helped me talk to myself. It has helped me reflect on my inner self. It has helped me to discover who I am. I've heard it a lot from many people all around the globe, and it is very true, very true. Have you done that at some point? I'm sure. I'm sure. Yes, I can see you nodding. This is, by the way, the Beirut blast. This is where it happened. And I want you to share an example of how something difficult turned out to benefit you. And how do you feel about that difficulty? And by the way, I'm going to tell you something. Beirut blast has brought all the Lebanese, the 18 sects, to that area where you can see in that picture. All of them, the same evening, they were all there from South Lebanon, from North Lebanon, from East, West, from the Bekaa Valley, from all over the place. You could see the 18 sects, especially the youth, in that area, helping to remove the rubble, helping the injured, and even helping with the dead bodies. Every single Lebanese was there. And up till today, because no one is helping us because of the corruption of our leaders, no one from the international community is helping financially or doing anything to make it a better area, because until now we have, I mean, the bodies or the people who died are 200 people whom we found, but there are lots of people that are still missing. 300,000 lost their homes. 80,000 are children amongst those, and 6,000 plus injured. This is how drastic it was. It was the third, if you want, it was rated as the third biggest bombing after Hiroshima and Nagasaki during the war. So it was huge. And I tell you, what is keeping this area striving, it's the Lebanese people only. And this is the advantage that we have found in this, after this difficult, if you want, challenge or adversity, because it brought us closer, especially the youth, because they are bringing change and their mindset has shifted. Okay, moving on. Number 4, develop a positive life stance. You have to cultivate this. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to cultivate it. It's exactly like a seed. You plant and you watch it grow. You have to plant that positivity within you in order to develop a whole life stance. If you want, I can share my presentation later on with the Toastmasters that are leading, and they can share it with you by email. I don't mind sharing that, so you can keep it with you. Number 5, feed your faith and starve your fears. What happened with me on the 4th of August, it's that my fear hijacked me immediately into the past. But if I didn't feed my faith and within 5 minutes, I was back on my feet again and back into reality again, it would have been a disaster. I would have been again thrown and jotted back into that cycle of victimization that I've experienced for a few years before moving on. So if you feed your faith, you will no longer feel as a victim, and you would be able to lead and move on. Okay, now a question for you. I don't know if any of you would like to take that. Would you say you have a positive life stance or a negative one, and why? Would anyone like to?
While waiting for someone to raise hand or chair, just to keep you track on time, we have 15 minutes left.
Okay, perfect. Okay,
Anyone
so
want to share?
I would like to answer this. I would like to take positive stance because negative is a dead wall. No point in banging the head on the wall. Positive, there is a way to come out.
yes, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. I will move on and then open the platform for questions and answers. A problem is something we can control and fix, while a fact of life is something we cannot control and fix. But this fact of life does not control us. And this is how we turn into the right direction again. We know that we can fix problems, but a fact of life, we cannot do that. I mean, I cannot bring Jana back. I can't bring her back. I cannot fix this. She's gone. But I did not allow Jana's death or Jana's slaughter to control me and control my life, or else it would have been disastrous. And it would have affected not only me, but all my surrounding. Number 6, realize that motions influence emotions. And Dr. George W. Crane says motions are the precursors of emotions. Emotions are responses to our circumstances, and I'm sure all of you can agree on that. So it's very important to realize that motions influence emotions. That means our actions influence our emotions. If I'm negative, definitely my emotions are negative. If I'm positive, definitely my emotions are positive. I gave some examples here. If I feel depressed, I'll start singing. If I feel fear, I will express faith. It will help me overcome those negative feelings. 7, today matters. It is today that you plant the seed. It's not yesterday, it's not tomorrow. Yesterday is past, tomorrow is not in my control. I cannot control it. I don't know what will happen a minute from now. So adversity is filled with uncertainty about tomorrow. We must turn our attention to what we can control. And today we must make it count. Another question for you here. How has the current crisis redefined your priorities? Have any of your priorities changed? Who would like to answer that? Okay, I'll leave you to think about it. Maybe you haven't thought about it yet. And I'll move on to number 8. Reflect instead of react to adversity. As I said, reflection is the pause of life, like the pauses we take in our speech. Take that pause, reflect on it before you react. And by the way, it's very important to know that the reaction lacks intentionality. And we have to bring intentionality in everything we do. We have to be intentional in our personal growth. We have to be intentional in whatever career we have taken. We have to be intentional to create connection with other people. We have to be intentional in everything we do. And if we allow adversity to hijack us, we would lose our intentionality. Okay, and this is the reflection path I've been talking about. The first thing you can do is review yourself. What happened in my world today? Ask yourself these questions. And number 2, ask questions of myself. What did I learn about myself today? It's very important because every single minute we're learning. But unfortunately, the pace of life or whatever we're doing, we forget to do that. We forget to raise awareness on that. Talk to myself. Talk to yourself. What do I need to hear myself say? Direct myself as well. What is on my I should list that I should be doing? And then take action. How can this reflection produce action? 9, adversity makes you relatable to others. Why? Because when you practice reflection, okay, this will help you better see your success and better see your failures each and every day. And this will produce a spirit of authenticity within you. And not only authenticity, humility, because you're human. And we all are bound to fail and succeed. And when you feel that, this is what will draw the people to you. Why might reflection be an effective antidote to reactive living? Anyone has an answer to that question before I share? Yes?
Yes, Sadika.
Yes?
I think reflection help us to reflect on lesson learned or our failure, and we move forward.
Yes, thank you so much. That is true. The lesson learned. That is so true. Sorry. Okay. So 10, always look for the big picture, because in times of hardship and adversity, most of people look at themselves. What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? It's all the time about me, me, me. How will it affect me? How will it affect my career? How will it affect my future? And so on and so forth. But if we focus on the big picture and we keep this in mind, what will happen to the world? What will happen to Lebanon? What will happen to Singapore? What will happen to my neighbors? If we look at the big picture, immediately we shift our thinking, we shift our direction, we shift everything. Everything shifts within us. Okay, and number 11, the last one, adversity makes a person grow strong in the sense of maturity. And yes, Jana's death, unfortunately, and the incident, it helped me mature. It helped me grow. It helped me come out of my, if you want, the limiting beliefs that I have over 2 years, between 10 to 12, until I met Uncle George. I developed those limiting beliefs, especially the other is the enemy. And that controlled me for 2 years. The other is the enemy. And I couldn't focus but on that revenge I wanted to take from that other. He has stolen my best friend and my soulmate, and I need to avenge myself. That was the only thing that took my energy. It took over my thoughts. It took over my feelings, and I couldn't focus but on that. And this was negative, totally negative. Negativity doesn't mean depression only. It could be revenge. It could be this thought of the other that you want to avenge yourself in any way or another. And for 2 years, I was stuck there. I was completely stuck until I met Uncle George, who helped me shift my direction, shift my thinking, and never, ever generalize. And he also helped me to become a human. And that was the most important thing. A question for you here. What is one area of your personal growth that has suffered or thrived during our current crisis, and why?
We have 4 minutes left. Please share
Okay,
that.
I'm done. So this is my question for you. If anyone would like to share with us, if there is one area of your personal growth that has suffered or thrived during this current crisis.
It is not something that is personal, but in general, our risk appetite has reduced.
Okay. Yes, Thomas?
I guess in a way it's my disappointment in the global community, because it seems to me that there are more people who are frightened than positive. And there are more leaders who, it appears to me, to emphasize fear over positivity. So that's one thing that's changed for me. And I never thought it would happen. I never thought I would experience a global pandemic or a global fear. And I just don't see the logic on that. I know that people are dying, etc., but it seems to me that's gone beyond, let's say, the normal fear level.
Yes.
In my opinion.
I agree with you in some way or another. And by the way, let me tell you something. Here in that part of the world, we learned that this is how they can control people, by fear. Creating fear is a tool of control. And unfortunately, this is what they use, especially the religious leader. I can say that openly, because unfortunately, they also, my religious leader, I'm talking, they have distorted the image of Islam because they have instilled fear in Muslims' hearts from the beginning of their teachings, starting with children. When you send children, which I don't do, but some people send children to religious schools to learn the Quran and to hear the teachings of certain sheikhs here in the area. But the first thing they do is to instill fear, the fear of God. And the first thing they talk about is hell. And the first thing they talk about is the devil. And this is done, in my opinion, it's done on purpose, because this is how they want to control them from the beginning. And they start to do that religiously. And then they move on of the fear of the leader, the fear of the other, the fear of Israel, the fear of whatever you want. This is where the starting point of controlling fear, in my opinion, after what we have experienced in this area. If I have time, would like to share with you what happened really in 1982. My enemy became human. In 1982, the Israeli invasion on Beirut, we had Israeli barricades all over Beirut, and we were hit from air, from the sea, from everywhere. We were bombarded from everywhere. There were lots of casualties. And my house was hit by an airplane missile where we lived. And my father was injured. So we rushed him to the American hospital at the time. And there was, he needed 2 B negative units of blood, and we couldn't find any at the hospital. They found the 2 units at the other end of Beirut in another hospital, and there was no Red Cross.
I think the session's timed out automatically.
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Or maybe her connection. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe the connection, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
But we all still here.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's probably a connection then.
But anyway, thank you, Thomas. Thank you, DTM Venus. Dr. Nush and
Thank
everybody.
you. It's a nice
Yeah.
session.
And Depti
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you so much. And Shah,
Yeah.
and Alona, and Dr. Vincent. So I'm not sure if
And
he will be back or
yeah, we're not
Yeah.
sure either. But you can stop recording. Yeah,
okay.
I think. Oh, should we wait for? It's
We can
only
wait
it's a
1 minute.
little bit, or go to the main room because the time is over now.
Yes.
Just go back to the main room.